Hi, welcome to Mevo Live, a show where we talk about everything related to Mevo. We answer your hard-hitting questions and we tell you kind of use cases and ways to use Mevo in creative ways. My name's Nathan Lundy and I'm head of CX, and with me I have Will Kirkpatrick.
Hi, I'm Will Kirkpatrick, as Nate mentioned, and I'm a technical specialist here at Mevo. We're also joined by Andrew, who's going to be our silent helper today. And today we're going to go into OBS. The entire show pretty much is going to be OBS, and so I'm pretty excited to show you all the different options. We're going to run through NDI, wireless webcam, and wired webcam.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. OBS is a pretty powerful program, free to use, free to download, and we want to show you how you can integrate your Mevo cameras, Plus and Starts, honestly, but today mainly just Starts. But we want to show you how to use it because it's a pretty popular program, and we think Mevo is pretty popular too. So getting those two paired up is pretty sweet workflow.
Definitely.
So let's talk a little bit about our workflow for today. You'll notice probably a couple little changes. We're kind of slimming down the show and trying out some ideas on ways that we can kind of change up the show. And you'll notice maybe the frequency is slightly changed as well, but we're going to be experimenting over the next few weeks with a whole bunch of new ideas. So we hope you enjoy and yeah, watch along with us. So let's talk about our show today a little bit. We're using 3 Mevo Starts, keeping it nice and simple. We've got our main camera that you're seeing right here. We've got an over-the-top shot, I believe. Oh, we've got our close-up single to the right side of us over here for all sorts of like walkthroughs and demos. We've got our over-the-top shot to show you any sort of unboxing or details about things. And yeah, that's it. It all runs into Livestream Studio, which is over by Andrew. Andrew's our video director, and he's handling all the video switching, audio mixing, and graphics for our show. And then for audio, we're using some lapel mics that are wired into an audio mixer that output from the mixer into a Mevo Start so that we can have synchronized audio and video. And then that all heads to Livestream Studio where all the mixing happens. So yeah, pretty sweet little workflow. And let's talk a little bit about today in general. It's a pretty nice and simple show. So today we're going to be just talking about our setup, which we just did now. And then we're going to be doing an OBS demo, which we just discussed. And then after that, we'll have our Q&A. So during this whole demo, please get those kind of hard-hitting questions ready to go for OBS, because Will is the man. He wrote our article for the Help Center. So hopefully we'll get a lot of your questions answered. So feel free to put those in the chat, and we'll make sure we get to them as we go through the show.
Definitely. All right, well, let's jump into it. We've got OBS running. We're using the iMac here, but OBS is also, as you can see, available for Windows and Linux. So you would just go to obsproject.com and download it for your appropriate OS. Then give it an install, and this is roughly what you'll see. You won't see, obviously, the Mevo logo on the iPad, but I wanted you to see kind of like one that you can add some nice graphics really easily in OBS, and also I wanted to show you how we're going to be setting up each camera. So first and foremost, let's do a wired webcam. And so right now you just go to the plus down here, go to video capture device. Let's just say wired. And then we've got a bunch of different options. And I believe the best wired one that we're going to use is the first gen, which is 43. Pull that up. There we go. There we go.
Sweet. So this is a first gen, right?
Yeah, this is a first gen.
Nice.
And as you can see, it runs extremely well. And so to enable it in the software, we got the iPad. We'll pull back up right like this. Nice and easy.
Would you mind blowing that guy up a little bit so we can maybe see it just a little bit better? You can all sorts of resizing options, right?
Oh yeah.
In OBS.
There's tons of options. It's really easy. You just undo that, and then there we go.
Sweet. That's awesome.
All right. Keep that up for a sec while I show you. As you can see, it's already in webcam mode there. I think we might have lost our connection real quick.
Oh, sweet. Good old-fashioned lose connection.
Happens. It happens. It's all good.
Yeah, we're using a pretty cool little app called Reflector. And Reflector basically wirelessly allows us to stream the iPad or iOS screen to a iOS computer. So that's what we use kind of for a lot of these demo purposes, so that you can see the iOS device and see kind of the application on the user side as well. So pretty cool little application. Take a look.
There we go.
Sweet.
All right, live again.
Got her up
So
and
as you
running.
can see in the bottom left corner, webcam mode is already on. But to get there, you just do the 3 dots, the gear, bring you into settings, scroll down, and you'll see wired webcam mode beta right there in the center. You just click that, toggle it on, and then you're good to go. I've already got it on, as I said before. And then so it's that easy for wired webcam. You really just put the plug it in via USB, and this works also for the Mevo Start and the Mevo Plus, but I wanted to just show that the first gen is capable of doing it just as well. So that's the wired webcam.
And honestly, this feature is pretty new for us. It's only been around for a couple of months, so pretty sweet new feature, and we're really happy to see that we support it across all the products.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then let's jump to wireless webcam. Now to start for wireless webcam, you need to download our software app. Right now it's only available for Mac. As you see, it's still in beta, but it works extremely well. So you'll download that, install it, and then up in the top right corner in your menu bar, you'll see the little Mevo icon. And then you select, obviously we have lots of Mevos in the office, so you select the specific Mevo that you want to use, and it'll automatically, the computer will register it as a typical webcam. So you'll, again, go to the plus, go to video capture device, and we'll do just wireless here. And then we'll grab the wireless webcam, which was AE. There we go. And there we go. This is our Mevo Plus wide shot that we were using wired, and now it's completely wireless. And it's still great. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, huge fan. The wireless tool is really awesome. I mean, I think I've said this a handful of times now, but I'm pretty sure Mevo is the only wireless web camera on the market. Now we only have the Mac OS version of it, but Windows is coming, fingers crossed, sooner than later, where we'll be able to have the same functionality on a Windows computer. So yeah, keep an eye out for that definitely on the website.
All right, so that's wireless.
That's 2 methods, right? We've got wired web camera, wireless web camera. What would be our next way of doing it?
Next one is very cool. It's NDI, and NDI gets a little bit more complicated, but at the same time it's extremely powerful, so it's really great to use. So first thing that you need to do is go over to ndi.tv/tools, and this is a new tech product. And so you'll go down, this is all free, by the way, and so you can just go down and download the tools for either Windows or Mac, and we've already got those installed. And then what you want to do is run the NDI input video monitor, which is over here, but I'll show you what the icon looks like. NDI virtual input, just like that.
Very
Open
cool.
it. And then so up here, and I was just showing this to Nate yesterday, that it will show all the NDI options, just like the wireless webcam, that are available. And then you can go ahead, select your Mevo, and then it's really, really easy to just add that source, video capture device again, NDI. Oh, sorry, set that up already. NDI 2, and then go into device and then select NDI video.
That's awesome. That's super easy. It kind of reminds me of our own tool in a lot of ways.
Right.
It's like so similar with the drop down and everything. So that's awesome.
Very, very easy. I'm a big fan of all of these. We're using OBS right now, obviously, and we can do a lot of cool stuff. But it's the same principle with a lot of the other software like Zoom or anything like that, where you just connect wireless webcam, wired webcam, or NDI, and then your computer will just register it as a typical webcam, which is really an amazing feature.
Yeah, it's awesome. And just to remember with NDI, it's only a start feature. So if you're looking at trying to use NDI with your Plus or First Gen, unfortunately we don't support it. But with your start camera, it works great. And I think there's even some quality options in the app where you can send 720 or 1080, depending on sort of the bandwidth you have on your connection.
Yeah.
And then you can set it over to OBS like that. I kind of prefer sometimes the NDI because sometimes the workflow is nice with the tally, and some softwares, use Tally Light, and then we support Tally Light in the camera, so you can get that benefit out of it. Whereas with web camera, you don't necessarily get the Tally Light notification of switching between cameras. But barrier of entry and trying to just get it functioning, the web camera is so easy.
Yeah,
and quality-wise, they're pretty much the same for the most part. And you don't have to worry about wireless sort of connectivity if you just plug it directly in. So that's pretty cool.
Definitely. And another really cool thing about NDI is that although we don't have the wireless webcam out yet for Windows, NDI lets you do wireless webcam for Windows. So
which is pretty cool.
Huge benefit there. So with the Start, you can just kind of pick it up and you're just wirelessly connected.
Just good to go.
Peek at what Andrew's doing back over there.
Yeah, peek at him in the corner there. And it's very cool. And this is like, super basic functionality. You can do this, like you said, with many softwares. Livestream Studio, Ecamm, you can do it with vMix, pretty much anything out there these days. OBS obviously is free and very powerful tool considering. So, can we see the article for this guy?
Definitely.
It's kind of the walkthrough of how that works.
So we've got it right here. Connecting Mevo to OBS, and this is a very comprehensive article. I wrote it, so I guess I'm saying that I'm a little biased. But it shows NDI connection instructions, gives you all the details, all the rundown, and then also the same for a webcam, for wireless webcam, as well as wired webcam, and then RTMP. RTMP is a great way to do wireless connectivity to OBS with your Mevo Plus because it does not have NDI. And so the article really gets into the down and dirty for that as well.
Yeah, and the RTMP is definitely a more complicated workflow, right?
Definitely.
It's like there's a lot more pieces and steps to it. But if you really want to dig deep into it, this would be a way that you could potentially do that. Sweet. Well, I think now it's just about question time. Hopefully we've generated some sweet, solid questions for you to throw at us, and hopefully you can slow us down with something. So yeah, let's go ahead and see those questions, Andrew. All right, can you switch through all the different cameras? And oh wait, is this from Andrew? Andrew,
Sneaky.
this is how you're inputting yourself into the show still? I love it. From Andrew Seisloff. He works here, by the way. You can switch through all the different cameras in OBS and show which ones are connected. Oh, yes. Let's see it.
So I actually have a complete setup done, and we'll take the iPad off here. And you can actually, I've got the webcam, wired webcam. This is a Start here. Can just easily switch to the wired webcam First Gen, NDI, and our wireless webcam.
That's cool.
It's super easy. You can resize them, have them all in a grid if you want, anything you want. The great thing about OBS is it really gives you a lot of freedom to customize your stream and make it really advanced. You can add transitions every time you switch. You can add animated GIFs and videos and everything like that. So that's really another big perk of OBS. And again, it is free. So if you haven't checked it out, you should at least give it a try and play around with it.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you own a Mevo camera. There's no reason kind of not to these days. All right, what's our next question, Andrew? From Alex. Are there any plans to get wired 1080p for Mevo Start? Would be great for OBS input.
Yeah, you actually can do wired for Mevo Start. The Mevo Plus is the only one that's limited to 720p right now. But yeah, you can, right now I have, the whole thing is set to 720p just because at default that's our lowest resolution. But yeah, you can set it to 1080p, absolutely.
Yep, you definitely can.
Good question.
Yes. Oh, from Alex as well.
Nice.
Also, I noticed the colors in wired webcam mode are different in a negative way, comparing to when I connect to Mevo Start through NDI. Is the video compressed some way? You know what? That's actually a great question. I don't know the answer. Do you happen? I don't really know actually.
I actually haven't noticed that, but
yeah, we'll definitely take a look. That's a good question to remember that we'll get to. I'll try to answer in our next show. So I'll go find the answer from our team and kind of find out a little bit more about it. I believe it just uses a different color spectrum, but like I said, let me get the correct information for you before you hold me to it.
Yeah. When using NDI, that's the plugin for OBS, not a virtual source, right? Correct. Yes. So what you can do is you can actually use OBS's virtual source. Oh, we don't have it installed here, but you can install a virtual source in OBS, and so you can do this exact layout or switching and stuff like that, and actually put that into programs like Zoom and Google Meet and
like the output from OBS, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So you can take your full program mix and feed it back into it.
You can have some really cool Zoom calls. You'll be the most advanced person on the call.
That's for sure. All right. Let's see from Tom. If you're connected to OBS, can you control the camera from software, or do you still need to leave the phone or tablet connected? Oh, good question.
It's a very good question.
Yeah.
So you need the mobile device to control and use all the default Mevo features. But if you do set your start to NDI mode or any of the cameras to wired webcam mode, they'll stay in that mode. And so you can just kind of quickly connect and switch to that. Exactly. But it has to be controlled through the app. Yeah.
So if you want to make any changes to like image, or you want to make any changes to, let's see, what other settings? Network settings, or you want to do anything with cropping, any of those things, they have to be done from the app. But the thing is that in Livestream Studio, you can actually you can control crop, you can control image quality settings, image color settings, all from within Livestream Studio. So if you wanted to, that's a way you could kind of get around it, but most of the time you would definitely need to have the app to control most of the Mevo features. All right. Keep them coming, guys, by the way. Oh, Frank. Oh, great question. We'll definitely try to find an answer for that. Don't know, but we'll get back to you.
Definitely. Submit a ticket. Oh, from Instagram.
Oh, wow.
What do you recommend?
Is this our first, wait a second, sorry. Is this our first Instagram question, Andrew?
So.
I think Andrew's nodding yes. You can't hear him, but he's nodding.
He's excited about it. You can tell.
Yeah.
All right. Charlie Huma. I'm sorry if I messed up your name. Yeah. What do you recommend for putting Mevo in a small auditorium? In terms of connection-wise, let's see. So I would typically recommend probably NDI. If you have a Mac, obviously wireless webcam is a good option, but if you don't, NDI is also really good. I will say in terms of stability, wired is always nicer.
Yeah, less variables, right?
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
just kind of plug it in directly. So yeah, I would agree too. All right.
Keep them coming.
Keep them coming.
Let's go. All right.
Mira, how can I make sure my stream isn't too grainy? Well, I think the easiest way is obviously to throw as much light as you can at Mevo in general. If you're inside a dark room, we're dealing with smaller type cameras with smaller sensors, so we do have great low light performance with our camera. We've actually improved that over our Plus camera. So you can see we definitely put some effort towards realizing that our customers are using them in a place that's a little bit darker. But we'd always recommend some lights. If you have auditorium lights or stage lighting, I would definitely recommend you use it. If you're maybe in a smaller setting, there's definitely some very inexpensive lights that you can purchase on Amazon or B&H that would obviously improve that situation as well. Or if you're outside or have like window lights, maybe you can move your subject matter towards like the windows or towards sort of the light source that might be available. But in general, the more light is pretty much always going to be the better. Your subjects look the best, and your image quality is going to always be that much better when you can do that.
Also, if you can avoid using too much of the zoom, because the zoom is digital zoom, so you want to be pretty close to your subject as well.
That's a great point. Yeah, you want to be within 10, 15 feet of your subject matter. That way you can get the best image quality. You're not trying to zoom across like an entire auditorium or something like that. Yeah. All right. Do you recommend Cat 5 or Cat 6 cables for hardwiring my Mevo? Well, lucky for you, both. I've actually never seen the difference between either one. As long as you have a solid connection, Ethernet, I believe, runs about 250 to 300 feet without losing sort of signal strength. Right. So that would be your theoretical limit. Me personally, I've run it past 500 feet with no issues, depending on if you have a pretty powerful switch in between. But Cat 5 or Cat 6 is fully supported with all of our products, so you shouldn't see a problem with either one of those.
Yeah. Which is better, HEVC or H.264 for recording? It really depends. I mean, H.264 is going to have a smaller file size.
Ooh, H.265, HEVC.
Oh.
Smaller file size.
I am wrong.
Oh, actually, you know what? I take it all back. I think our settings might be the same for both right now, as far as file size goes. That's a good question. I think we're actually, there's a chance there's a change coming for this soon. And I think the file size is actually going to change. We're going to cut it in half for HEVC, but we'll have then technically the same quality as H.264. But much smaller file sizes to deal with. Yeah, I think we'll show them and bring the bitrate up. Oh yes, that's a good idea. Actually, we can show you where to make this change in the settings. Honestly, HEVC up until recently has been pretty much impossible to work with. Premiere and Final Cut, they've kind of built some support for it, but recently they've kind of adopted HEVC fully. So you've been able to just very easily and quickly edit and deal with HEVC. Because before, you used to have to download codecs and try to figure out how to actually visually see the footage in it.
Yeah, I would pull it up in the app right now because the cameras are active. We can maybe pull up a different camera though.
Yeah, I think you definitely can. Might need to reconnect it there to the computer, and then we'll be able to follow along. But HEVC in general is pretty sweet. Nice little, I'll throw you a little tidbit for multicam. We're actually going to hopefully be, fingers crossed, using HEVC for the camera to mobile phone video signal. And what's going to be great about that is when you're in a place with lower bandwidth, or maybe your router isn't as beefy to handle all sorts of different kind of video signals. Hopefully we're going to use HEVC for that, so we can have smaller bit rates, but then have equal quality streams for those cameras. So nice. could be pretty cool.
So here's where you can set those settings. You can do, it's in recording settings in the just general settings part. And yeah, you can set the bit rate, use default bit rate, resolution, format, automatic backup recording.
Yeah, and you can toggle, I think, between them, right? And then is it set to, I believe it's set to use default bit rate by default. But then you can always come in here and just kind of modify this guy with the slider to kind of set the bit rate that you'd want to for either one. Yeah, pretty cool. And this affects your backup recordings as well. Oh. So when you go to change your backup recording, say you're streaming, it'll automatically change this backup recording to follow this same bit rate that you've selected here. Nice. So pretty cool.
That was a good question. Good deep dive there.
Yeah, and I'll get you the answer next time for the actual file size and which one would be better potentially.
Cool. Can you also use OBS NDI plugin instead of using virtual input? You can, absolutely. I like virtual input just because it seems to be quicker to select which camera you have on NDI, but you can definitely use the plugin. Absolutely.
Sweet.
We actually have it pulled up here just in case anybody is curious. You can actually just Google OBS NDI, and pretty much the first one will show here. Yep. And if you are like a little bit confused on this page, basically you just go down at the bottom. If you have Mac OS, download that package, Windows installer, the exe. Very easy.
Yeah, and you just find that on GitHub.
Yeah.
And you can, you just download the package, install it. OBS sees it, right?
Super easy.
Yeah.
Very quick.
Cool.
Next question from YouTube.
Wait. We got to go back to that question.
Oh, no.
Who asked that?
Oh, Joe Mevo.
Joe Mevo.
Hey, what's up, dude?
We didn't even notice.
Dude, just so paying attention to the question itself that we had to go back. Thanks, Andrew. Joe Mevo, you're watching our show. Thanks, buddy.
Yay.
We miss you. We can't wait till you're here. All right. Chroma quality?
Chroma quality.
I wonder what this is in relation to, but maybe you could clarify this question for us and then we can answer it. But if you want to do chroma key maybe?
We we might do a fun show talking all about
Yeah.
green screens and stuff like that coming very, very soon. We had a nice time playing around with it yesterday, so expect that.
Yeah, I think we did have a lot of fun. You might see some leaves that change colors and stuff. It could be cool.
Yeah, but it definitely does work with OBS doing the green screen and all that.
Yeah, it does. All right, well, any other questions today, Andrew? Oh, Frank Smith. If I want to use NDI with OBS, am I plugging the Ethernet from the Mevo into my computer or into the router? Great question. Good question. And this is just a solid workflow question in general, actually.
Right.
You definitely want to connect it to the common router or connection you have established for the facility that you're in.
Right.
So into the router, you generally wouldn't want to go one-to-one with the computer and the camera.
Right.
Go through that router wirelessly or wired, either one. Any other questions today for Andrew? You gonna surprise us? Oh, Tom Fields.
Tony.
Oh, Tony Fields, sorry. Can't read. When using NDI, does Ethernet carry both the power and the video?
Yes. The NDI part will be going through the wireless.
Or wired. It could be through Ethernet.
Yeah.
But power would probably be going through the Ethernet, the cable itself.
Right.
So for our Mevo Start, do we have a power adapter around here? Maybe, well, we'll get you one next time. But we've got an Ethernet power adapter. And with the power adapter, you can use PoE, which is power over Ethernet.
Mm-hmm.
And it allows you to both send power and data through the little adapter. So basically, you'll plug in a single USB-C cable. And inside the USB-C cable, oh, thank you, one just magically appeared. Look at this. So this is our Ethernet power adapter. You can buy this online, by the way. Would you mind pulling it up on the site while I talk about it? So this is the Ethernet power adapter. One side, it's got USB-C. Other side, it's got Ethernet. You can get a PoE Ethernet switch, and then you can, through the Ethernet cable, you can send both data and power through it, through the USB-C and into the camera. And this is the connector. You can go purchase it and find out more information about it. We also have some help articles on how this works and what products it works with. So yes, Tony, you can use a PoE adapter to power and send data for NDI. Good question.
Definitely.
All right, well, that was a great show today. I think this is an article. I think this is probably our most top searched article on the Help Center these days, because obviously everyone's getting more into live streaming.
Yeah.
And OBS is such a great free tool that you can use. And Joe Mevo, by the way, shout out to him because he loves OBS. I've been slowly having to convert him to try some other things like vMix and Livestream Studio, but he's a huge promoter of OBS. And with Will's help to write the article, now we have hopefully a lot more people using Mevo and OBS together. So thanks for joining our show today. We will see you next week with another version of Mevo Live. Hopefully we can answer all your hard-hitting questions, tell you more about how to use Mevo, thanks for watching.
Yeah, and if you have any questions that we didn't answer, we've got a great help section, help.mevo.com. And if you can't find your answer there, please send us a ticket and we'd be happy to answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good one.